Hush, my rose, still, and look at the moon tonight. Do you see the shadows there? This world is full of twisty frights and spooks who love to scare. Feel how the wind blows through your bones. See the treetops shake and shiver. Just like the wind, we take to flight and make the groan and quiver. Lulu, 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 la la lulu, lulu, la la lulu. There is magic inside of you. Hush, my rose, still, and watch as they fly away with the moonlight on their wings. You'll join their merry haunt someday. Hear how they howl and sing. There is magic inside of you. Light on your feet, past windows you creep. Follow the cat as black as ink. One step ahead while they're tucked in bed. You'll find secrets dark and secrets deep. Lulu, 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 la la la, lulu, la la lulu. There is magic inside of you. There is magic inside of you.
Started.
Thank you for letting us know.
Absolutely. It says I should do that, so I did it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very nice of you to inform us.
So now while it's recording, it will hear what we're saying.
Well, anything that's incriminating we said prior to the recording, so that's okay.
Okay, we're good.
You've never been on one of our shows, though, have you?
I think I have been actually, but long ago.
Okay.
Long ago. So yeah, but I don't recall.
It wasn't that memorable?
I'm sure it was. I think it was a combination interview. It wasn't just Wendy. It wasn't. I don't think it was Mystic Moon. It was something else. But Wendy was there. So either that, or I need to get on my meds again.
Mine will kick in any minute now, I'm
It's like,
sure.
oh, good. We'll get to see the different Wendy. Excellent.
Oh no, it's scary. Run.
Do we not want to see that Wendy?
No, just kidding. This Wendy is just fine.
But the dog doesn't like the door shut, so.
Yeah. Mine is away over that way, because if not, she'll poke her head and like, what are you doing?
Aww.
Why is it not with me? What's going on? You know.
Where's my treat?
Yeah, exactly. So she's got her luxurious pen, so that's good.
Oh, a luxurious pen.
What's big and she has stuff in it, and yeah. her den is basically what it is. So do we get a real actual intro, or are we starting?
Oh, here in just a minute, or like 20 seconds, but
okay.
yeah. And then we'll intro you. So,
Okay. Wow. I'm excited.
So
Me
Wendy, do you want to
for
we'll read your bio like
you.
Wow. Really? You want to just say, hey,
Uh,
it's that guy who writes Montague
uh,
Strong and Peaches.
welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe. I've got Miss June with me here this evening,
Hi
and
everyone.
a very special guest. Go
Hey
ahead. You can
everybody.
talk now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Well, how has your week been, Wendy? We'll go ahead and start off with that. It's like, how has it been?
It's been a week. The weather's fantastic. Getting the dogs out. It's just been
Uh,
pretty good.
oh, that's really nice. It's
Mm.
nice and fall here. It's just cloudy and rainy and dreary, my favorite time of the year.
Woohoo.
No sun, I love it. It's really sad. I'm sorry. But there are some times that I just do not like sunshine. I love rain and cloudiness and just since I do the paranormal investigating, it just kind of sets the mood a little bit more.
How have your presentations been going? You travel on the spooky side, right?
My travel on the spooky side has been going really well. We actually, let's see, I've actually done, I think, about 8 of them now, and I have 2 or 3 more, I think, and then I'll be done with that. But then I am going to be speaking at the Port Gamble Ghost Conference in the early first week of November. So I get to do that. But we had a really fun event in Centralia, Washington. They did their citywide ghost walk, and we got to kind of position ourselves in different places around the city. And basically, we told our kind of investigation stories of each place that we had investigated. So they had one every hour. It started at noon and ended at 9, and I feel like I'm still recovering from that.
Oh my.
So
Okay.
yeah, it was really fun though. It was a great, so many nice people there. It's just a nice small town feeling. It's really great. So yeah, we had a really fun time.
Good
So
deal.
yes, so that is done now, and so I feel a little relieved because we've been working on it for about 8 months now. So and now it's over.
And did Ross get away on the plane, or is that yet to come this evening?
Actually, he was supposed to, and for some strange reason, they canceled his flight. So he has to now get tickets again and fly out. So
Oh
it's gonna
no.
be 4 days. So yeah, it was very strange. I swear, sometimes he's just kind of got this little string of bad luck, and lately, so.
We'll have to do some moon magic for him or something.
I really think so. I actually was not a very big believer in a lot of things like that. And all of a sudden now with all this bad luck that he's been having, I think somebody might have like rigged up a curse on him. So
Ooh,
I'm really wondering because he's been having some really bad luck lately.
that's unfortunate. Very
Yes, it is. But I feel really good.
good.
Not about
Yay!
not about his bad luck, but I feel really good.
Oh, sure, that's what you say.
Things have been going really great. It's just really been nice, and like I said, I love this time of year, so very fun. But
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
well, Ms. Wendy, we
Yeah,
have an amazing guest with us tonight,
yes, we do.
and why don't we want to go ahead and read his bio and just take turns, or would you like me to just go ahead and read it?
Just go ahead and read it. You're so good
I'll go
at
ahead.
it.
Me. Okay. We have the privilege of having Orlando Sanchez with us tonight. Orlando Sanchez has been writing ever since his teens when he was immersed in creating scenarios for playing Dungeons and Dragons with his friends every weekend. An avid reader, his influences are too numerous to list here. His influences, did I say that right? Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Some of the most prominent of his influences are J.R.R. Tolkien, Tolkien. I think I'm saying his name wrong. I didn't watch that movie. Jim Butcher, Kat Richardson, who I absolutely love too, Terry Brooks, Piers Anthony, Lee Child, George Lucas, Andrew, is it Vachss, and Barry Eisler, to name a few in no particular order. The worlds of his books are urban settings with a twist of the paranormal lurking just behind the scenes and generous doses of magic, martial arts, and mayhem. Aside from writing, he holds a second and third Dan, I'm probably saying these wrong, so somebody's got to, straighten me out, in two distinct styles of karate. If not training, he is studying some aspect of the martial arts or martial arts philosophy. Let's see, we go down here. Orlando currently resides in Queens, New York, and with his family. You can find him in local Starbucks where he writes his stories. So I wonder how many people are stalking him out at that local Starbucks.
I don't know, but chat room is full. Apparently, one of the chat rooms.
Oh.
You can go to the Spreaker chat room and get in with us, and it'll all be cool with any luck.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome everyone, and welcome Orlando.
Hello. How is everyone? Good?
We are fabulous, especially now that you're on here.
That's right. It's all better.
Thank you for having me.
So much better.
Seems like a lot.
Thank you for agreeing.
Yes.
This is a little later than I'm used to, so this is fun. I'm not later than I'm used to staying up, but later than I'm used to doing interviews. Yeah.
Like wondering about that, I was thinking, oh my, you are on the East Coast, so you're going to be getting to bed pretty late. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but that's normal for me. I don't really sleep, so.
Wow. So I saw that you said you started writing stories in your teens.
Yes.
Can you remember any of the first stories you ever wrote?
Oh, jeez.
Did they all start off? It was a dark and stormy night, like mine did.
A long time ago, June.
It wasn't that long.
I used to keep a journal. Somewhere I know I have them somewhere, but I can't remember any of those stories. I think those stories were just dealing with teen angst and getting stuff out, basically. Yeah, or Dungeons and Dragons, which I was very, very immersed in back then. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do you still play Dungeons and Dragons?
Not any longer because I'd need another few hours of the day to be able to
I understand.
I used to DM or GM. I don't know what it's called now, but yeah, I don't have the time to play. It's time intensive. It was time intensive back then. I can imagine it's even more so now. So yeah, but I appreciate it. I mean, I know people who play it and enjoy it, and I know it still has a great following. So yeah,
it really does. Yeah, I kind of tried to play it for a little while, and the people that I was like playing it with were a little irritated when I kept asking question after question after question. So what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah, you're supposed
to
immerse yourself in the moment. But if you're not used to it, it seems a little off-putting because you really just have to buy into. We're doing this story in your head, and so.
Right.
But that's a little hard to do for someone who's just starting. If you're just starting, you kind of have to get walked through what you need to do. Those who've been playing, the veteran players, it's not an issue. And especially the DMs have to be excellent storytellers and be able to really kind of improvise on the fly as the players start doing things. So if you have a really good DM, it's a real fun time. If you have one that gets frustrated quickly or upset, yeah, it's gonna be like, we're not doing this again, So
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Our chat room is filling up. I'm proud to announce.
Hello to everyone. Yeah.
Yay.
Got Benna and Tammy and Larry and Chris.
Awesome. I kind of know. I think I know a few of those people.
Just one or two of them, I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Just a few of them.
Oh, very cool.
They're waving at us, so yeah.
I'm
waving back.
Now that, yes, you can kind of, can they see us now if they would go to YouTube, or do they have to wait till after?
No, they have to probably wait till you upload it.
No, yeah, they're going to have to wait.
I was just checking. I didn't know if they could see us live or not.
Yeah.
I tried. I tried
so
to see if it would work, but the two studios You can't see me. The two studios won't mesh.
Okay then.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They do sign language now.
I,
They can see the sign language later.
yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Well, I know YouTube has a live function, but I haven't figured it out yet. So
Cool.
yeah.
Very nice. Well, it's so good that you're with us right now. But one of the things I want to know too is, so when did you start your martial arts training?
Wow. I started martial arts when I was 20, so I'm 53. So that's how long I've been doing it, 33 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I started late because 20 is considered late. After most of the kids in my dojo start at 5. Like my own kid started 5. One started when he was 4. So I started what's considered really late. But
Wow.
yeah, I've been doing it for about 33 years now.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Did you ever do any competitions and things like that? Or?
Early on, I did competitions, and then when they started telling me that I was hitting too hard, then I started saying, okay, I'm not doing competitions anymore. Because what's the point of me doing this if I have to now
Pull your punches.
scale it back? Why?
Right.
And then when they started doing point fighting, which is even more, it's not even hitting, it's just tapping, I was like, I'm done with competitions.
I bet so.
So I did some kata competitions, but then even then, competitions didn't draw me. So I did some early on just to see what it was like. And then it was like, this doesn't really attract me. And so my practice became more private after that. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
But, I fully support people who do competitions if it's something they enjoy. It's just not something that ever motivated me. Yeah.
I can understand that. I can't understand martial arts competitions because, I trip over
you
my own
get
foot.
hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You broke your foot?
Don't hit me. No, I said I trip over my own feet.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
That's probably be a
Most
really
of
good
us can
exercise.
help with that, actually. It gives you some coordination and spatial awareness, so it's good for that stuff. Yeah.
I was wondering what it kind of taught you in your life and kind of helped you out in life.
De-escalate, don't pound on people, discipline, focus, have compassion. Everyone is going through their own struggles. We're pretty much all the same. It's just that there's different expressions of it. Because I've been around all kinds of people in the martial arts world. I've trained with blind people, with deaf people, with people with handicaps, and so everyone's doing their best. And so my best doesn't look like someone else's best, but we're each doing our own best. And that's key. And you realize that in martial arts, you start seeing, if you don't have an ego about it or pride, you can start seeing that we're all the same. So what I do at my best may look different than someone else, but they're doing their best, and that's what matters. And so you learn a lot that way if you're open to it. It's a really good experience, which I recommend to everyone to have some sort of practice. Not necessarily martial arts. It could be anything else. It could be painting, yoga, poetry. These things that help you be creative open you up to these worlds where you can start realizing that we really are all connected. So it's important. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't know if you're interested or not, Orlando, but I can drop a link in our chat on Facebook, and you can see how the how the chat room is blowing up, and how naughty your children are.
Oh, when the cat's away. Please do. I want to see that.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yes, it is. Completely, yes.
Where did you put it, Winnie? Did you put it in the mob?
Yes, I put it in the mob. I guess I could share it on the mob as well.
Yeah, you could.
Mm-hmm.
The mob is awesome. So.
Yes, they really, really are.
I attribute it to, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I attribute it to the mods, who they really do make the room amazing. And when I started the mob, we had 56 people because they came over from my launch page, and now we have 1,100, something like that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's really cool.
And the mods are the ones who we share the same vision about making the space a safe space for anyone. And we have a few zero tolerance policies, like we don't discuss religion, we don't discuss politics.
Art.
Um,
Very
we don't
smart.
really discuss things that impact people, gender, things like that. We stay away from all of that because it's not the forum for it. And
Right.
so the mods are the ones who like they do things that sometimes I'm not even aware of until much later, but they know like this doesn't work here. So
Right.
and they're amazing.
Do you discuss the Great Pumpkin though?
Depends.
Just wondering.
Great Pumpkin is a big deal, especially with Charlie Brown. I grew up watching it every year.
Yes.
Every year. So
Yes.
yeah.
Me too.
I'm looking for it, Wendy. I don't see it, but I guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, they're saying. I think I see it now. Yeah. It's live now. Come hang out with Orlando live podcast on the Mystic Moon Cafe. Awesome.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Okay.
So, how long have you lived in Queens, New York? Or we just want to talk?
We don't have an accent in New York, June. Just letting you know.
I was expecting that. I was really expecting that.
You don't have accents in New York, okay? Queens, New York. You don't have accents out here. Think about it.
Right.
I lived in New York most of my life. I moved away when I was younger, and I've lived in different places, but I came back. But yeah, New York is my hometown. So I was born in the Bronx, and I was raised in Queens.
Wow.
And when I got older, I lived in all the boroughs except Staten Island. And then I moved out and moved around, and then I came back to Queens. Yeah.
I lived in Hackensack, New Jersey for 2
yes.
years.
I know Jersey well. We avoid New Jersey. If you're from New York, we don't go to Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. That's what
we
my
just
friends
know it's
always
that place way over there. We know the general direction. Jersey is over there.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I always had to go into New York to meet my friends.
Oh,
it's like they would never come to New Jersey.
They tortured you. Yeah, we don't go into Jersey. No,
that's okay.
No.
Look how it smells.
This should give you they don't make you pay the toll to get in. They make you pay the toll to get out. So I said, come on in. But if you want to leave, well, that's going to cost
pay.
You. That's going to cost you. So that should tell you everything about Jersey. Oh, wow. No, Jersey's great. I know a few writers. I think Rick Gualtieri lives out there in Jersey. I think there are a few great writers, authors who are in Jersey. And there are places in Jersey that are fantastic, that are really nice, like amazing places. I used to do some jobs out there. Great place. I just couldn't live out there because it's in the middle of nowhere for me. I like the vibrancy of the city, the flow, the energy of New York City, and the fact that if I get up at 3 a.m. and I say I need to go get something, I can find the store open.
You can actually find someplace.
Yeah, in Jersey, you really can't. Jersey's a little more rural and residential, and so unless you're in like Newark or Hoboken, the cities, and even they close around 10. It's dead after 11 midnight. It's like nothing. So New York City is really the city that doesn't sleep, and that always appealed to me. Because even when I went to London, it was like after 1 o'clock in the morning, everything was closed. I was like,
"Yep, that's
this
true.
is London." It's like, does it matter, mate?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So.
Oh. Now, will you do your New York Englishman accent?
Let's do that.
I promise I wouldn't do that because there are too many people who told me don't ever do that again.
Come on.
It's an affront to New Yorkers and to the British.
I understand.
Don't do that again.
Oh man.
Yeah. But on that note, I have the narrator who did the first 2 books, Two Millions of Butterflies and Full Moon How, and I'm in talks with him to do the rest of the series. So that should be fun.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. So you can do the audiobooks for those. That's Kevin T. Collins. He's very good. He's very good. Yeah.
I've listened to the first two books in the audio books.
Yes.
Since of course when I say that I read books, I'm saying that in quotes.
Yeah. You read with your ears, right?
Yeah, everybody laughs and says, "Yeah, June, you read books." I was like, technically, I'm reading the book.
Well, you're
but
reading
I'm listening to it
auditorily, right?
But yeah, I have to say, whoever, I forgot to look and see who did the audio, the
Yeah,
narration.
he's very good.
It's really good. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
if you read slash heard,
yes,
No
I'll keep
God is
the
Safe.
air quotes.
No God is Safe. That
Yes,
short story is done by
I,
John Logsdon,
he was good too.
and
Oh,
he is excellent
Yeah.
as a narrator. So he does
Fun.
voice of Simon. He does every voice except the British voice, which is done
I
by
was
someone
gonna say
else.
that sounded like a totally different
It's a
person. I
totally
was gonna
different.
look that up, but I was like,
But John does all the other voices, and he's amazing. And then
it's
Two Millions and Butterflies and Full Moon Hound is done by Kevin T. Collins.
really good.
Yeah, they're both good. Yeah. But John would need an extra week, every month to narrate books because he is so slammed with stuff.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, he's really busy, really busy.
But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I read that. I actually did not see the short story first. I wish I would have
Right.
read it first, but and when I say read, I mean I read.
Third,
But I
right.
just want to keep saying that, because every time I say I read a book, everybody's like, "Yeah, you read a
You
book."
read a book,
But it was just I really got sucked into the story, which was awesome. I love it when that
I had a
happens.
lot of fun writing it, so it was yeah.
Well, why don't you start? What inspired you to write the book?
Oh,
I mean,
geez.
to write,
I did the one thing that I tell every new author not to do. I was in the middle of a series, and my readers are going to kill me. I was in the middle of Sepia Blue. I had just finished book 3 of Sepia Blue. I will get to the next 2 books, I promise.
Uh-oh.
No, it's on my schedule. It really is. It really is. But I was in the middle of that series, and I had this idea for a different series of an immortal detective who was American and a mage who was British. And it was kind of like, I don't know if you remember the old Odd Couple series with Walter, with Tony Randall and Jack Klugman, that kind of feel. And how one was kind of very meticulous and clean and always and the other one was kind of like a slob and whatever. It kind of started off that and expanded from there. And so I had this idea, and I ran it by a group of authors known as the WTA, which is like John Logsdon, Ben Zackheim. You guys may know these names. Eric Knoll. And they were like, John was like, you need to stop whatever you're doing now and write this right now. Write this. And I was like, yeah, but I'm in the middle of a series. It doesn't matter. Write this now. So, because I had given them like a chapter, a few pages, and said, this sounds really like it resonates. And so from there, I just started writing 2 Millions and Butterflies, and I wrote that book, and that took off. And then I wrote Full Moon Howl, and that took off. And then it just kind of had snowballed into more and more books. And now I'm on book 10.
Right.
And assorted stories and tangents. And the Night Warden series came out of Montague Strong, and the short stories that came out of it. And I'm writing currently Aftermath, which is set in the same world, and Division 13 is set in the same world. So it's like, yeah. I'm going to get to Sepia Blue, don't worry. I promise.
Eventually, one way or another.
Well,
Exactly.
Because I like to have it complete, and it's at 3 books, and it's a 5-book series.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. So I will get to it eventually. I will.
Do you identify with any of the characters? Do you feel
Peaches.
I would like Peaches. I love Peaches.
I think every author identifies with all their characters. I was always of the opinion that authors are just society accepting schizophrenics. Like we just have all these voices in our heads. And we are accepted schizophrenics because we've given these voices a channel, which is writing. But I think all the characters that any author writes is some facet, some part of the author, or at least some kind of an expression of the author, whether it be, Monty's fastidiousness or Simon's rebellion, or just Peach's love of life and just like, hey, meet his life, kind of, all those things are inside every author and inside of me. And so that's the only way I can write it. If I can identify, if I can't identify with a character, I can't write them. It just doesn't work because I can't hear the voice. So a lot of the times that I write, and I'm writing things in these spontaneous, because people say, you're so funny. I'm like, no, 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 I'm not really. It's just that I'm just writing. And these things come out because this is what the character would say. I'm not planning to be funny. It just happens. And the only way that happens is if I identify with the character. I can hear the voice. If I can't hear the voice, it's a character I can't write. That's why my latest book, Sheepdog, took a while to write, because I had to get in touch with the characters. I had to be able to listen to the voice. That's why. So, yeah. But I identify with all my characters, even the villains. Especially the villains.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now Tammy TK in the chat room is asking.
Oh, sure.
When,
of course she's asking.
When is the 10?
Okay, so the Clandestine Adventures of the 10 is scheduled for sometime this year. I don't know exactly, but I know it's on the schedule. And that is the story of, if you've read the Montague Strong books, the 10 are rogue mages who you call when everything has gone backwards, or I don't know. Can we say profanity in this?
You
podcast?
bet you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So everything's gone pear-shaped. Let's say that. Okay.
Bottom up.
Bottoms up. Yeah, and you call it a 10. And the connection to the 10 through Montague Strong is Dex, because they want him to be in the 10, but he doesn't want to be in the 10, so he's kind of the link. But yeah, the Clandestine Adventures of the 10 takes you to the 10 before Montague Strong meets them, and so it's a different, darker expression of those characters, and they're badass. They're amazing. Think Sheepdog with magic. That's basically what the 10 is, isn't it? They're phenomenal, and TK and LG are in there too.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, of course. They're part of the 10. But there's some other surprises in the 10 that people will be like, oh, really? He's one of the characters? There'll be some surprises in there. Yeah.
Will Nana make a reappearance?
Nana has her own series coming called Old Magic, where she teams up with Dex, because they're both old. And,
right.
And she's phenomenal. If you read Silver Cloud's Dirty Sky, she figures prominently in that story, and she is amazing. And so she's an amazing character just to write. And also because they're both older, it's interesting to write characters who have a little bit more life experience than, let's say, Monty or Simon, and they see things from a different perspective. So they don't care as much about what these things are temporary, and they look a little bit more long term. And so it impacts and influences their choices. Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I have the cover ready. I have everything ready. I just got to actually write the story.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I find that 8th day, I'll get right on it.
After you get 4.5 minutes of sleep after this show, and then go
I'll jump right in. I have a lot of stories. All my stories are outlined. It's just a matter of they're in a queue, and I just have to get to them. That's
a whole bunch of landmark relocation novels. I like that.
Yeah, I know how people say I have a TBR that's threatening to kill my Kindle. I have a TBW, to be written, that's threatening to destroy my hard drive.
Oh my!
Basically, it's just I'll put it to you like this: my covers are scheduled out to 2021. That's just the covers. Yeah.
Wow.
I use the Range Doctor design, and they're amazing. So every 6 months, I'll sit down with Kim, who's there, and I'll say, okay, let's work on the next. Let's schedule the next covers for the next 12 months. And so I'm looking at it right now. I have the next year of covers scheduled out, and all those covers have stories attached to them, outlined. So it's like I just need to clone myself now.
That's right. That's all you need.
That's it.
I'm working on it.
It's not as easy as I heard.
You're working on cloning him. Ooh.
Let me know how that goes, Wendy.
and distribute it wisely.
Yeah, keep me updated for sure.
Each coast, you know.
I hope I answered Tammy's questions. Oh,
yes,
soon.
Awesome.
TM. How's that?
That's awesome. So one thing I actually wanted to ask was, about all the research that
Oh,
you do, and how do you do the research? Where do you usually do the research? Is it just all Google, or
no. Okay,
I'm just
so
kidding.
it depends. A lot of it's Google because it's a great tool, but a lot of it is actually getting the books like on Amazon, like actually buying books and reading them. I own the Rumi book. That book that you say me that I write Rumi poems. I have an actual the big book of Rumi. For sheepdog, I have military people in my family, so I had resources that I could go to for stuff like the Morrigan and the Celtic stuff or the gods and the mythos. I have a lot of old books on gods that I'll read.
Wow.
So it's just a lot of home. Basically, what I've done is give myself homework for the rest of my life.
Right.
Yep.
That's basically what it means to be an author. It's just a lot of homework for the rest of your life. A lot of it I'll read entire passages, pages, maybe a chapter, just for like a paragraph. But it's worthwhile if it makes the paragraph sound authentic. So yeah. So I had to read for this one restaurant called Hybrid in Montague Strong, which is this kind of place where gods are allowed and creatures of great power. And so I had to do all this research on the characters that run that place because it had to be authentic to the mythos. I always try to be authentic to the mythos, which is why Morrigan is so incredible. Because she's a scary goddess. She's also a triune goddess. And so you got to think about all three facets of her being and represent them the way they need to be represented. So there's a lot of research that goes into that. Like, why is she a triune goddess? What are the other names? What are the other personas? All of that factors into, and she was able to do this, or why was she called that? And things like that. So, and you only learn that by researching and reading. So, yeah.
And we need to know which persona Dex prefers.
Yeah, Dex does not prefer Babbed. No, Oregon. Babbed is scary. She's dangerous. She'd probably try and kill Dex. So he tries to stay away from that persona, but you can't avoid it. It's part of who she is. So for the next Montague Strong book I'm doing, it's called The Golem. Or actually, if you go back to it's Golem. And so now I have to research golems and how they're created and why they were created and how they were used and who would use them for what purpose, and it's a whole thing. So there's a lot of research in that.
Those are the Jewish clay, figures.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So now I've got to go into Jewish culture, Jewish history, Jewish mythos, because one of the things I started with Montague Strong is that no mythos was off limits. I would try to include everything. So that's why you see Shiva, you see Kali, you'll see, Hades, Persephone, you'll see, all these different gods from different pantheons, because I wanted to include as many as possible and make the stories interesting, not just limit myself to just one. And so with Aftermath, which I'm writing now, Ursula, who's the main character, got her hammer from Ukko, which is a Finnish thunder god. But then I had to research Finnish thunder, it's Finnish mythology. So it's like, yeah, homework.
Yep. Uh-huh.
So now with the Golem for Montague Strong, I have to study Jewish mythos, which is very rich and diverse and really interesting. But it's deep, and so I have to study a lot for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do love how you bring them. I mean, even though they're not human, you bring out a lot of their human qualities in them, and it's really, you're like, ooh, it's just reading about some of them. It's like, wow.
One of the things I tried to do especially with the interaction with Montague Strong, is to make it as authentic as possible. So we all know a Monty and we all know a Simon.
Oh yes.
Hopefully you don't know a hellhound, but you know dogs that behave like Peace, right?
Yes.
And their interaction, I tried to make it as authentic as possible, so that when you read them, it wasn't so much you reading a story, but just kind of watching these two characters interact and kind of you being the fly on the wall, watching everything. So you're in the story with them and you're seeing them, and when Monty's telling Simon to shoot it harder, shoot, go, shoot, or Simon saying, you forgot, right? You forgot the bullets, right? Yeah. Things like that. So things like that. Yeah.
just love it.
Sorry, I'm typing a response here.
What are you typing,
okay.
Wendy? What are they
Well,
saying?
they're saying that don't say butter and ooh butter, but butter. And I said in the pipe fitters it would have been the dread boy butter. So there.
See, when you say butter, my brain immediately goes to Jim Butcher because he has a character
Yes,
named
butters.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already thinking, Jim Butcher, which was a huge influence on me writing Montague Strong. So I too am waiting for peace talks, just so we know.
I'm glad he's taken
Anyone
so
else?
long to get it back out because
Yeah.
it's given me time to read all of yours.
Yeah, he's had life happening. Like, I think he got married and he moved and, life happens. So he's an author, but he's also, yes, he has a life. And so, yeah. Readers are voracious. I've always said no one author can keep all the readers happy. You just can't write fast enough. You cannot. Unless you have, 8 arms and,
right.
a few copies of yourself. So, yes, he's taken a while, but there's a reason for it,
Yeah.
And he writes really well, so I'm waiting. He said it's done. I think they're just going to probably release it probably near Christmas or something like that.
Okay.
So that'd be fun.
Yeah, I have to remind myself that a lot of times, with some of the books I'm reading. Is it Janet Ivanovich writing the Lizzie and Diesel series?
Yeah, how is that? What is that up to now?
Well, it's only that's the whole thing. It's only up to 4 now, and I think they're supposed to be 7.
Yeah, but she's written a few other books.
She's written a lot of other books too, so I have to remind myself that it's like June. She has to write other books. She'll come back to this one. It'll be okay.
That's the state of my sepia blue readers that I apologize profusely to.
You probably heard a lot of that.
I will.
A lot of people saying, "What do you mean you're writing these more other books?"
Oh yeah, I get that all the time. You mean sepia's not done and you're starting this series? Hello? Yeah. I get that a lot.
It's like, I promise I'm going to go back to it, but
a lot of it, the hesitancy to write sepia is because my voice has changed so much over the years. Because sepia was a few years ago now.
Oh.
So I'm a little reluctant to go back because my voice has changed so much. But I'll get back to it. Don't worry. I have a few surprises for sepia and the finishing of that series. And I think Montague Strong might make cameos in her world. So that'll be fun.
That'd be really
as
fun.
it should be. Mm-hmm.
So,
June, you have frozen on my screen. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I have a picture of June, but not June's.
Yeah,
image.
You guys have frozen on my screen too, so I was trying to see if I could do something about that, but.
Please stand by. We're having technical.
Yes. This is the.
We won't have it make that annoying sound, though.
That's
like,
right.
Oh, even my microphone isn't modulating on here, so I don't know what happened.
But we hear you fine.
It's probably the ghosts.
Yes.
All
most
the
likely ghosts. Yes, I would. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, we have a doorbell at work that just goes off occasionally, and there's only one tone to it. Usually if there's somebody there, there's 2 tones.
Right.
So anytime that does that, I always say, oh, it's just the ghost. And people are like, what? And then they open the door, there's nobody there, like, June.
I just told you it's the ghost.
Oh my. So I wonder if I should get out and get back in again. Or will that screw everything up?
Larry says that Jabba put the bounty on June. 1 cartoon freezing later.
See,
Carbon.
Right.
Carbon.
You must have done something,
carbon.
June.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know, Orlando.
You must have done.
I have many things behind me now.
I'm sure there are a few things chasing you now. Yes.
Yeah, probably right. It's like, well.
June likes to. She's a paranormal investigator on the side, and definitely enjoys doing the investigating the old brothels and things that have,
Oh, wow. That should be
there.
interesting.
That is true. It's like all of a sudden I end up in brothels, investigating brothels. It's like, what is this? And then I play a madam when I'm in the brothel to tell these girls they're not doing a very good job. Man, you never know. One of them might have followed me home. It's like, I'll show you. So, what do you think? Do you think I should try to get out and get back in again?
You can if you like.
You may never see me
so we
again.
can get the video. But
okay, let's see what
let's
happens.
say bye now in case you never make it back.
Okay. It's been lovely.
It's been great meeting you, June.
I'll be back.
We will wait.
Really bad impression, but let me try it again.
Do we call those famous last words or?
Yes. I'll be right back. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, Wendy, think of a good question so you can talk while I'm gone.
Okay. All right. Well, I was given a few by an insider, so.
An insider. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for these questions from an insider.
Well, there's something about a 20 books conference and John Logsdon having dinner.
Yes. So I not only do I write the Montague Strong series, but I also write in the PPD world that John Logsdon had graciously let me kind of play in his sandbox. And so the PPD authors, I think most of us will be there except for Noah Studevant. Hope I said his last name right. We'll be there in Vegas, and we'll be having a dinner. I'm gonna say Wednesday, but don't hold me to that. But I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday.
Okay.
And we'll be there. And if you're in Vegas, come by and swing by Sam's Town because we'll be there. But I don't think we'll be at Sam's Town. We're gonna be at Tommy Rockers or something like that. John has all the details. But yes, we have a PPD dinner. Your voice is back.
Yay.
I'm hearing a disembodied voice. Who is that?
My picture's not back.
Yes, your video's back.
Woohoo! Okay. Now I'm back. Sorry, I was getting too close to the camera and scaring them. Continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay. Well, and there are rumors that you'll be doing a Facebook Live event on November 15th from a secret location with a special with special guest appearances by the Pack. Can you talk about that, or is it secret?
No, I don't think it's that secret. But
Oh.
yeah, we're gonna try. I think the week that I'm there in Vegas is one of the weeks that fall for Mob TV. So it's in Vegas, so some of the Pack live in Vegas, and some will be visiting, and therefore we'll have a Mob TV event in Vegas, providing that we have connectivity, and there'll be guest appearances by some of the Pack there because they'll be in the vicinity when we do it.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I'll be in Vegas on November 20th.
Yeah, I'll be gone by then. But
dang.
Enjoy.
Larry says live from Cactus HQ.
Yeah, for sure. If you ever get to visit Vegas, those of you who haven't, and those of you that are listening, Vegas is an amazing place. When you're flying in, you get to see the city, and then on the outskirts of the city, all you see is desert. It's an amazing contrast where the city is huge, but right on the edge of the city, if you go there at night, you'll see the lights of the city, and then it's just darkness all around the city. It's amazing.
It is. There really is. One of the coolest places we went to last time we were there was the Boneyard, or the Neon Sign Boneyard.
Oh, really?
Boneyard,
I didn't get a chance to travel much. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Where all the old neon signs and all the old places go out to, I guess, go to pasture. They actually have them in a museum that you can go and look at them.
And they're huge. Yeah.
It's kind of sad though. You go through there and you look at Liberace's sign, piano, Frank Sinatra, and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. All their marquees and signs. It was just kind of sad. It was
it's a little bit of history, but it is sad too in a way if you look at it. Sure. The last time I was in Vegas, last year, I kind of stayed very central to Sam's Town because the conference is packed with things to do.
Oh, I bet.
And then in between the talks, you're meeting other authors, and so it's nonstop activity. And so we we didn't have much time. I think we hung out with Larry. We were able to go zip lining, which was awesome.
Oh, how fun!
We did zip lining. We did
Did
a
you
few
do that
things.
in old Las Vegas, the inside, the
No,
zip
I didn't
line?
get to do that. I got to zip line and we walked down. I think it's Fremont Street. I think it's called. It's this wide street full of stores, and you just get to walk down
Yeah.
all these amazing stores, and you can zip line across the whole street.
Right.
It's almost enclosed, and you just go across, and it's amazing because you really are like it's like flying. I didn't get to do much more than that. I think we went out to have like lunch. We had with Larry. I think we had dinner with the Tushmans, and that's about it. And we met a few. There was a bunch of authors that did this, but the conference is so jam packed with things to do, people to meet, and people to speak to. That you don't have much time to go out and explore Vegas. So maybe this year we'll have a chance to do some other stuff besides the 20 books. But it's tough because they really do pack it with informative things.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Wow, how fun.
What other insider questions do you have, Wendy? I'm curious. And who was this insider? Wait till I find
Yeah. Who is the insider?
who is the insider?
I have to protect my sources.
That's the title of the
But
book.
his initials are Chris Chrisman.
Yeah. We're gonna be trusting you with government secrets, Wendy.
Yeah.
His initials are Chris Chrisman.
Oh, boy.
He's in throwing distance right now, I believe.
Yes.
I guess I could jet over to the speedway and
He's really close. Yeah, you're not that far away from him now. Yeah.
no, not at all.
Kansas City from where he is.
About 20 minutes.
Oh wow, you really are throwing the
Yeah,
you're really close.
very, very close.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
But let's see. I was supposed to ask about your YouTube channel.
Oh yes, before Chris Chrisman kills me. So Bitten Peaches Storyteller has a channel, YouTube channel. So just go to Bitten Peach, type in Bitten Peaches Publishing Storyteller, or just Bitten Peaches Publishing, you'll find us. We have about 8 or 9 videos up now. It's usually the Mob TV events that we do on Fridays, but there's some other things that are slowly populating the channel. Go, like, subscribe, and share, please. It helps us create more content for the channel. But yeah, we're basically doing that. We're taking all our Friday morning events and then uploading them to YouTube. And so people who don't get to see it, surprisingly, there are people who are not on Facebook who want to know what's going on. So YouTube is another way for them to find out. Because YouTube has a worldwide audience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tammy's asking, what's the current Valkyrie status on The Thing?
Oh, it's hidden. They have stayed away from it because of school and because we've been pottering. So Harry Potter has been like, I think we saw all the movies and the first one again recently, just because you miss stuff when you watch it the first time, especially if it's a marathon. So they've been distracted. But it was great watching the movies. Because I had never seen them before. I never read the book. So it was like the first time for me. And it was great to see them because I didn't realize the movie spanned 10 years.
Right.
So you get to see them as children. And then by the second part of the 7th movie, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter's already sporting a shadow. Like, when did that happen?
I know. And then you look at the first movie again and it's like, oh my god,
baby.
they're just little kids.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
So the casting for that movie was phenomenal. Whoever casted that movie did a spectacular job.
Right.
It was almost a miracle because all the characters who stayed with the whole series and aged through the movie aged so well. And they were great actors. I'm sure they had a lot of coaching, but they were amazing through all the movies. It was incredible. So whoever cast that movie did a great job. And now we're on to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and The Crimes of Grindelwald. It was the next 2 movies.
Oh, yes.
Because we can't get enough Harry Potter, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that.
Well,
we have
one
another
of the
Harry Potter
Valkyries
movie
is reading. Yeah, one of the Valkyries is reading Harry Potter. So
Excellent books.
she's on book 5.
Absolutely excellent.
Book 5? Book 4. One of those. Book 5 or book 4.
Who?
Yeah. Oh, and the other one is reading book 1. So now they're both reading Harry Potter, so it's good.
That's awesome.
Well, it killed me though when after the second movie, Richard Harris, is it Harris or Harrison?
Yeah, Richard Harris was replaced.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
passed away.
Yeah, because he
and
passed away as Dumbledore. So
yeah,
yeah,
that
that
next
was
guy
sad.
just doesn't
Well,
stack up
you,
at all,
you
in
know, the
my
thing
opinion.
about him too is he's so different from
Yeah.
Richard Harrison. It's just you
It's a
know.
very different way of being. Richard Harris was a presence, and so
Yeah, he
whoever they
was.
picked to do Dumbledore did a decent job. But Richard, I mean, you're stepping into Richard Harris's role,
Yeah.
True.
and that's
Yes.
hard to do. It's like Alan Rickman, who passed away as Snape.
Mhm.
No one
Yeah.
else could be Snape. I mean,
Oh
No, they couldn't.
you know,
no,
the
I
way
love
he
Alan
speaks.
Rickman.
I was commenting to my wife the other day. I love the way he speaks. He's given lines, right? But he decides to speak this
Yeah.
way, and then he'll glare,
Exactly.
you know. And so
So
Alan
evil.
Rickman gave that character a certain life that no other actor after him could kind of replace,
Right.
you know. So it's things like that. They make it their own.
So if they did a movie of you know, Strong and Monty basically,
Right.
who do you think would play those characters, or who do
Gee.
you have that in your
Well,
head who might
we
play the
recently
character?
did this with Jethro. Jethro started this in the room. So the recent casting, because this happens in cycles every so often, where somebody will finish the series and say, "Who do you think should play?" So I'm
Right.
still with Ryan Reynolds for Simon Strong.
Oh, I can see that.
Perfect.
That sarcastic. Gonna get in trouble. You know, I do
Monty,
have to say though, every time that he says something,
yeah,
I cringe because it's like, oh no.
I know. I
So, yeah,
cringe
Ryan
too,
Reynolds would be
and
great.
I'm writing it, and I'm cringing. Because I'll read it and I'll go, "Oh, really? You couldn't say something
He's
else?"
not gonna say that.
Yeah.
He's not gonna say that. Oh,
But he'll
man.
say the truth that other people will avoid. That's what Simon does.
Yeah.
And he's the everyman. So he's thrust into the situation and he's going to react the way we would react. And it's just that he has a certain fearlessness about him. So
Right.
for Monty, it's up in the air. Some people are saying Benedict Cumberbatch.
That's
It's
kinda
hard.
obvious. Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston. I heard Tom Hiddleston a few
That would be
times.
nice.
I think Tom Hiddleston can pull it off. Yeah, it's tough. I have a hard time pinning Monty down because you need a good British actor, which I'm sure there are plenty of,
Yeah.
but I'm not that familiar with them. But for Dex, I would say Ian McShane makes a perfect Dex. He has that kind of gravitas to it. Chi, we have Lucy Liu or Maggie Q. Sounds like a girl band.
It may be even.
Lucy Liu, I like because she has that resting death face. You know,
Yes.
she just kind of glares and wants to stab you. So Lucy Liu's pretty good. Maggie Q's a fantastic martial artist, though. So either one of those works. Or Zhang Ziyi, she's also very good. She was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Okay.
and she was in a few other fantastic movies. She has a good acting chops. Let's see. For Ramirez, we had a few toss-ups. A younger Edward James Olmos. It's gonna be hard because he's a little older now. Ruben Blades is very good. Let's see who else that we have for. I was thinking Esai Morales is also really good because that's to be a Latino. So, yeah, there are a few that could be Ramirez, and I don't know who else do we have. Oh, for Peaches' voice, Vinnie Jones is his regular size voice, and we have a toss-up between James Earl Jones for Peaches XL or Michael Duncan. I kind of like Michael Duncan, but Michael Duncan passed away, unfortunately.
Right, yeah.
But Michael Duncan's voice was perfect.
We could have a seance.
Yeah, we'll always bring his voice back.
Mhm.
So Michael Duncan's voice is perfect for Peaches XL because he has that depth to it, and so it's like a modern James Earl Jones because James Earl Jones now you have Mufasa and Darth Vader again, and so he has already recognized. But Michael Duncan would be great as a Peaches XL with someone who can sound like him.
That would be awesome.
I believe Jude Law was put forward for Monty.
I could kind of see Jude Law. He needed a little bit more ruggedness, though.
Yeah,
Monty's
I was
more
gonna say
tougher.
he's so pretty.
Yeah,
Yes, he's
Jude
very
Law is what I
pretty.
consider a pretty actor. You know,
Oh yes.
he's a great
I
actor, but he just looks too pretty.
I did like him in Captain Marvel though. He was nice
He
to
was
look
great
at.
in Captain Marvel, but it was hard to see him even as a bad guy. Sorry if
Yeah.
I'm spoiling it for anyone who hasn't seen Captain Marvel at this point. But
Whoops! Oh no!
yeah, like, oh,
I
I'm
haven't. I
sorry.
haven't. That's okay. I will.
But yeah, I have a hard time seeing him as a bad guy.
He's
I
actually a
do.
really good guy. Never
Mhm.
mind, Wendy. He's very
He was
good.
good in Gattaca. He was excellent in
Yeah, he
Gattaca.
was excellent in Gattaca.
Well,
Yeah.
he's great as a young Dumbledore.
Yes, he's in Crimes of Grindelwald, and he's a
Mhm.
fantastic Dumbledore.
Yes.
It makes me wonder though. Isn't he supposed to be like maybe around 30 or 40 there, and
Yeah,
then
he's
like
a
20?
wizard. Wizards live a long, long time.
But,
Remember?
but like it's supposed to be like 20 years later, and then all of a sudden he's
Yeah, he's like
Richard
years.
Harris.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
What happened?
he had a
What
rough 20 years.
happened? Really rough.
Caught up with him in a hurry.
Oh.
He became a moderator in the mob.
No, you see, in the mods they have created such a space that they don't really have to mod much. They're
Right.
and if a mod says something in the mob, that you can't end around the mods. Like you can't come to me and say, "Oh," I'm like, "What did the mod say?" "Oh, okay, that's it." You can't do like I don't undercut the authority the mods have. So it makes their life easy because if they decide, "Oh, you gotta go," you gotta go. It's not we don't second guess that kind of thing. And they discuss amongst themselves, like, "Hey, this person has acted this way, or this person has said something, or I did this." I very, very rarely do I intervene in any of that because that's their purpose. That's why they're there. If I'm gonna have mods and then second us everything they do, why have mods? That doesn't make any sense. So the mods have the authority to do what they need to do in the room. That's why when I say the pack is ever watching, I always say it's not just a phrase. I'm not trying to scare you. They're watching because they're in every time zone. You have mods all over the world. So at every time zone, someone is watching that room. That was intentional.
Good. Yeah, that's
so
good.
It keeps the room awesome. And that's the key. So I never undercut what they say. When they decide, hey, this person crossed the line or they said something or did something, they let me know, obviously, but they take the action. And I support them. So they're awesome.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman was just put out there for Monty.
Oh, yes. He was great.
He would be awesome,
Black.
actually.
I could see him as Monty. Yeah. Ooh,
Definitely.
That would be great. And he's still young enough. I gotta have my people talk to his people.
Yes.
He's still young enough to play a great Monty. Yeah. I could see him because he has a certain tortured way of being. Like he's been in some movies where you could really relate to the character going through a really tough time. So, and Monty has a rage issue, unfortunately.
Yes, that's right.
And there's a reason for it that gets kind of discovered later on. But yeah, so I can definitely see Gary Oldman as Monty. That'd be awesome because him and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, I can see them Gary Oldman trying
that
to
would be
strangle
an
him.
awesome pairing.
If you ever saw the movie The Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson,
I have not
you'll
seen it yet.
understand that kind of dynamic because that is hilarious.
Yes. Yep. That the perfect dynamic for Simon and Monty.
That's why I always say it's like Deadpool and Gandalf. Could you imagine those characters
That's so true.
having to work together? Gandalf would blast Deadpool, and you can't kill Deadpool because Deadpool doesn't die.
Right.
So Gandalf will be blasting her every 3 seconds.
That's really perfect, actually.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy. Oh my gosh. But I'd like to go way back in the beginning. I forgot to ask you.
Yes.
What was the first book that you had published, and what was your kind of, I was going to say, kick in the pants to get it published and do everything? And
Sure.
what
The
was that?
first book I ever published, edited by my wife, was The Spiritual Warrior, which is still published. It's still out there. That book took 5 years to write. So, and it just took a long time, and I figured I could do this and just put it out there. I created the cover myself, and I tortured my wife to read my handwriting and transcribe it.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't type that one. I did that one longhand, and she typed it and
Oh,
edited it.
wow. Oh, my gosh.
And yeah, it was rough. And it was like 70,000 words or 73,000 words. It was a long book. But that was the book that I really had to get out. It was a story I really wanted to tell. And you can tell from reading that book that it's all over the place and has like a multitude of characters. But I was starting to get an idea of what I needed to do. And that I just really needed to get that story out. That's why I did it.
Oh, wow.
There were a lot of stops and starts before that book, but that was the one that made it out to really being published.
Do you ever go back to it and say, oh, I'd like to change this, I'd like to change that? Okay. Just wondering. That's awesome.
I went back to it to change all the covers. That's it. All the covers are new. I started reading it. You know how it has a look inside? And I was like, no, because if I do this, I'm going to rewrite.
You're going to start, yes.
I'm going to rewrite the entire book. And then if I rewrite this book, I'm going to have to rewrite all 5 books.
All of them, yes, exactly.
No. So I stayed away from reading it. And I have copies. I have hard copies. And I still, then I don't even look at them. I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's dangerous because when you're an author, when you're a writer, there's no such thing as perfect. It's great. Set it out when it's great. If not, you could literally, I know people who've spent years on one book because they're trying to get it perfect. In the meantime, they don't put anything out. They don't publish anything. So while you're working on perfect, which you can never attain, books are being written and people are waiting for you. And eventually, you get kind of put to the side. Like, okay, yeah. When you release your masterpiece, I'll read it. But in the meantime, I'm going to be reading all these other authors who are releasing great works while you release your perfect one. So, yeah. There's no such thing as perfect. You can't find it. Just know when to release something when it's great. And like I said about my art, they take a good story and make it great. And that's all I want from my art. Take this story that I gave you. It's good. And with your insights and your points of view and your suggestions, it goes from good to great. And then I'll release it. The only thing that I don't do that with is Montague Strong. So I give it to the art and then I give it to an editor, which is even more because it's Montague Strong and they're usually longer works. So
now, how many series do you currently have out? That's a question from the chat.
Wendy, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Larry says 85.
Okay. I have the Spiritual Warriors, which is the first series. And that's actually complete.
Yay! That's awesome.
Then there's the John Kane series, which is it's not well known. That has 2 stories, The Deepest Cut and Blur. That is even further back than Sepia Blue. Sorry, if you came to me through John Kane. He's really been neglected. Then there's Sepia Blue, which has 3 books out of 5. And 1 short story, which you could only get through the mailing list, because Trish asked about that today. Then there's Montague Strong, which is at 10 books currently. Night Warden, which is at 2 books. 3rd book is being worked on. Then you have The Brew and Chew, which is short stories. Aftermath, which is just being written. Division 13, which has 2 books, the 3rd being worked on. You're going to have The Designers, which made an appearance in the last Montague Strong. You got Assassin's Apprentice, which is 1 book in. Yeah, I think that's about it. You're going to have The Clandestine Adventures of the 10. You've got Old Magic, which is the Nana and Dex Adventures. There's another series in the works called the Montague School of Battle Magic, which is run by Dex. That's another series.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So
I don't know if you can count. There's at least 5 or 6, 7, 8 series. But they're all... I'm trying to connect them all to Montague Strong.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you decide how many books are going to be on each series, or does the story just keep taking you places?
Montague Strong, I wanted to make evergreen. Right now, Montague Strong is scheduled for about 20 books.
Ooh,
Night
nice.
Warden about the same. The other ones are short stories. I just write them as the stories come, like a proper hellhound. Someone mentioned that. How do you train a hellhound? I said, that sounds like a good story. Why don't we
very carefully?
There's a lot of care, right?
I have not read that one yet, but I'm going to.
Oh, it's really fun, the proper hellhound. Then someone mentioned in the early books of Montague Strong was a story about his date, and everybody kept asking, when did he go on a date? what date? And so I had to write the story called The Date, which
that I
which
almost got
kind of chronicled that doomed date that he went on. So the short stories kind of crop up from incidents that happen within the main series, but the
Nice.
series themselves are pretty much ongoing. The Night Warden series is ongoing. Aftermath that I'm writing right now is ongoing. It just depends on the length. Like Montague Strong and Night Warden are full-length books, are like 50K. All the other books are like 30K, or if they're short stories, they're around 10K. But
wow.
the short stories, I just take stories from stories that don't happen in the main series that are tangents, and I'll write a short story about that. So like Ramirez has a short story coming out called A Day in the Life of the Director. And you get to actually go through one of his days as he deals with Montague Strong and a disaster or something, right?
You kind of see his side of the
Right,
story.
you get to see a little bit about what he has to go through, what he deals with. So that'll be a short story. That wouldn't be a series. So the short story spin off from the Montague Strong series.
Oh wow, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dread Warlock.
Yeah,
Sci-fi
the Dread
magic.
Warlock. I apologize to anyone who follows the Blackjacks. That's a series, and the Dread. Okay, so that was my first, and of course, Sheepdog, which I just recently wrote. The Dread Warlock was my homage to everything sci-fi as I grew up, and it's a science fiction story with, spaceships and everything. And I wanted to include magic because I have a hard time writing without magic, and so this kind of mixes sci-fi and magic. And it's the Dread Warlock. And the Warlock is the name of the ship that they're on. So we kind of put it all together. It's a lot of fun. The Dread Warlock is a great series. That one I really enjoy. And that one right now is slated for 3 books, a trilogy. So I'm kind of trying to limit to 3 books. And then I'll see if after 3 books, if there's still a lot of interest, then I'll keep going.
Will there be any resurgence of Warden's bags?
Actual bags or the bag in the story?
Oh, I'm not sure. It came out of chat, so.
An actual bag, you'd have to speak to Tammy. She is the one who made my bag. And that is a work of art. In the story itself, yes, Gray has a Warden bag that will save his life a few times. Yeah.
Very good.
Those things they're really important. And he went through a lot to get it. So, yeah.
Psycho Smurf. I remember the word, but I don't remember where it came from, which book and everything.
Psycho Smurf. That sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Noah would do, like Bert. That's what it sounds like. No, but I know that one of my characters.
It was a different book.
I know one of my characters wrote that. Said that. I wrote it in one character. This is why I tell you, writers are just schizophrenics. Socially acceptable schizophrenics.
No, I would like to know, that you have, in your biography, you said that you write at the local coffee shop or Starbucks.
Yes.
So do people try to seek you out there? And
No.
I was just wondering that. I was like, since they
so
know.
that's kind of dated because I don't really
I was wondering that if you
Starbucks
still.
that much anymore because Starbucks coffee is just not strong enough any longer.
Ah,
So,
I see.
that goes back a few years, that Starbucks comment. But when I sit in Starbucks in my neighborhood, I'm pretty well known because of the dojo that I run, and so people know me from that. But they don't really know me for the writing. I'm still kind of undercover in the neighborhood, so it's pretty fun.
Oh, that is really cool.
But I don't really sit in Starbucks anymore because one, it's expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
$6, $7 a cup, and I have Death Wish, and Death Wish is potent. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm weaning myself off Starbucks.
Yeah, it didn't take me that long once I calculated how much I was spending a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
I'll
my gosh.
tell you, what I spent a month in Starbucks paid for my coffee maker.
Wow.
It was
Undoubtedly.
It was an easy calculation. I was like, I could get a coffee maker or I could keep buying Starbucks. All right, let's get the coffee maker. It was that simple.
Yes.
All right, Psycho Smurf came out of Dread Warlock.
Oh, yes, because Frost is blue.
Yes, yep.
Yes, blue skin. And she's a Psycho Smurf in terms of She's dangerous. Yeah. I like writing strong women characters. I like writing strong characters, but I like writing strong women characters because there are too many weak women in stories.
Yeah.
And so none of let me see.
They're always falling down with their ankle,
I
really
can honestly say there are no weak women characters in any of my stories.
No
If
swooners.
anyone let me know, but to my knowledge, I've never written the damsel in distress character in any of my stories. Most of my damsels would kick your ass.
That's true.
But I don't think
Even
I've
the
ever
little girl.
written, women that needed to be saved or, none of that, because that's not who I was raised by, and it's not what I believe in terms of portraying women. And so I don't have that kind of situation in my books. The last story that I wrote with Anvil, who's a lead female, she almost ran away with the story because she's such a great character. And the one that I'm writing now, Ursula, she is the lead character, and she's a lot of fun to write. So but yes, Psycho Smurf is Jack talking to Frost. I think, pretty much. You're asking me to remember stuff I wrote last week. Kidding me?
Oh, I bet. I bet things get. Do you ever get some of the characters and things mixed up when you're writing something?
Actually, no, not really. If you're asking me for something like who said Psycho Smurf, that might be tough.
Yeah,
But the actual characters are getting mixed up or confused now because they're each in their own separate worlds. So I can never confuse Frank for Peaches. Things like that. That'd be a little hard. Like the characters are distinct. Like there aren't characters that are exactly like any other character. So they're each unique. So it's really easy to keep them separate. So there aren't really characters that are the same. Like Gray isn't like Monty. They're very different characters. Although they're both mages, Gray is dark. Gray is like dark. And Monty, although he's tortured and angry, he's not dark like Gray, which is different. And they have different worldviews. Whereas Gray cares about what's happening on the street, Monty is a little bit bigger view,
Yeah.
So different upbringings, different ways of being, different perspectives. So Monty had what you could say kind of like a sheltered life in a way. He grew up in the Golden Circle. He grew up around mages. And Gray grew up dealing with things on the street and fighting things on the streets. It's different kinds of mentality. But yeah, that's very easy to keep them apart. And then there's no character like Simon.
No.
Simon's very unique in that regard because he's thrust into this world. So he's the only one that's like that, to my recollection.
Chris is saying that he's like Gray, and then he says Wendy right there with it. He says, I'm really not Gray. I'm more salt and pepper at this point. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Is there maybe?
Yeah.
I don't have any, so I can't relate.
Yes, I know. Go on. Shoot. Go on. Go on.
She keeps
Dakota,
talking
go
that
on.
way. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Is that how we end the interview, Wendy? Shoot.
Yeah,
Go on.
shoot.
Get out.
Shoot, go on.
Yeah, shoot. Out.
It was great.
All right, and that concludes the Mystic Moon Cafe.
Hey, that might be kind of a cute ending.
Shoot. We're done. Okay.
Be gone.
Be gone. Oh, don't get me started with the whole
Right.
Mario Leviosa. And,
That was pretty
I know a few of them.
No,
I know a few of those
it's
spells I know.
Leviosa.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosar.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. So, do you ever picture any characters? I mean, basically, on your books, people in
covers?
real. No. People in real life. Do you ever have? Are some of your characters actually based on people in your real life?
Not in my real life, no.
I
don't feel like getting attacked that way.
I know.
But-
I'm just kidding.
A while back, we had a Monty craze where someone, I don't know who it was, I think it might be Don. One of the readers, someone in the mob, found the model who posed for the Monty covers, who poses for the covers. And he's a good-looking guy. He's buff, and she found topless pictures of him. And everyone lost their minds, and that thread had to be shut down.
Oh no. So
It just got a little crazy. Yeah. He's a good-looking guy, and then on top of that, he was topless, and he was in like these awesome poses and like showing off his bod, and pretty much melted everyone. And we had that thread had to be shut. Yeah. So no, I don't. None of the characters in the books are based on the appearance of real people. No.
That's good to know.
Because you don't want to bring people in like that. No, not their appearance at least. Characteristics are a different story, but appearance is no.
Mm-hmm. And we have several in the chat room, actually, right?
Well, LD and TK are in there. Chris is actually in one of the stories. If you paid attention, you know which one he was. There are a few that are in there. You're gonna find a new one in the Aftermath from the room is in there too. So you'll find out. Yeah. Listen, Craig Zimick is in one of the books. If you pay attention, you could find who in the mob is in the stories. Mm-hmm. You have to look at the names, how they interact, things that they say. The clues are right there in your face.
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
And I have a policy of not answering Easter eggs. So if you can't find it,
it's too bad.
You're not ready for it. No, really. Some people come to me like somebody was reading Tomb Yards and Butterflies, and they had just read it recently, and this book was out years now. It's 2012 when I published it, and they came back and said, "No, I'm sorry, 2016." And they came back and go, "Oh, that's what you meant." And here we are, like 3 years later. So when you're ready to discover Easter eggs, it'll appear to you. And I don't. Why would I spoil that? I wouldn't want to spoil that for you.
That's when, that's when all of a sudden you just get that feeling years later. Like, oh my God! Yeah,
you're like,
that's pretty.
That's
awesome.
what he meant. Oh. And there are references in all my books to like Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars.
Yes.
Obscure television shows. It's like this mishmash of stuff that if you really read between the lines, you'll find a whole bunch of stuff. It's layered like an onion.
Yep.
So, but I wouldn't want to take it away from people because part of the fun of reading Montague Strong is discovering those.
That's right.
Like, and there's references to other wizards or two wizards from different cities, and who's that? Part of it is discovering that, and people ask each other. Some will share, and some will say, "Well, you got to really look."
Yeah.
That's part of the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't want to take that away from anyone. It's an experience.
Now, the place, Hades Joint.
Yeah.
Is that based on? I know it is based on a real place in New York City.
Yeah.
But could you expound upon that a little?
His actual building where he works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's based. Back in the days when I used to do signage, I used to own a sign company. I had one client named Quick Park, which still exists. It's a garage. And they had one of their main offices at One New York Plaza, which is way downtown near the South Ferry. That's the building where Hades' office, 10 floors exists, which I keep blowing up or cutting in half. I have to look into that. Maybe I'm harboring some resentment against this. Anyway, so that's where it is, downtown near the South Ferry. It's One New York Plaza. Is the building. And it's an actual building, and it looks awesome. And most of the places in the Montague Strong book, they may have different names, but if you look up the addresses, these are real places. Places that I've been to, places that I've had to go and take pictures of and walk around and see. And there are a lot of hidden places in New York City that most people don't know about that exist, and then I put them in the books. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's been so long
Definitely.
since I've been in New York. Definitely.
Say again, I'm sorry?
I said it's been so long since I've been to New York. I was like,
I
really need to come back.
You go visit.
Like, really come back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. See, that's one thing about the city that has a lot of rich history that could be used in stories. Like the city itself is a character. It really is. Because there's so much that has happened in this city. And so it comes across as its own character.
Right.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. That's really good.
I didn't say it. I think Agatha Christie said it. She said, "Why would anyone write a story in New York when New York is its own character?" Something like that. And I think I paraphrased that. Yeah. But
very nice.
One, because she's right. New York City. If you're gonna write a story in New York City, you better make sure it's interesting, more interesting than the city itself,
Mm-hmm.
and treat it as the character that it is. You know, New York City is kind of relentless. It's cold, but it's warm. It's
Right.
brutal. There's a lot of things that make up the city itself. If you're going to have a story in the city, you have to make sure you understand the city. I
Right.
can't speak to other cities in the world. Maybe London, I was in there for long enough to write a little bit of, but I blew up London. Much to the dismay of my UK mob. I'm sorry. I blew up London. Just central London, just near the Thames, okay? And the Tate. The Tate had to go. But just central London. I only blew up central London. I'm sorry.
What the Blitz didn't take down in World War II,
Yes.
Orlando get the rest of it.
Montague Strong. Well, wait, they started in St. Paul's Cathedral. They went through like 7 or 8 bridges. Didn't get Tower Bridge, though. Left that one alone. But all of the bridges along the Thames got wrecked. The places, the Hyde Park got destroyed.
Yep.
Trafalgar Square got wrecked. Oh, it was just devastation everywhere. And the Tower of London also got a little bit of damage. I tried to stay away from the Tower of London because UK mob was a little touchy about the tower.
Exactly. So much history.
Yeah, well, Crown Jewels are in there. Hey, I left the Hall of Parliament intact. And Windsor Abbey is still in one piece. I'd say I was being generous. Okay? I'm just saying. A lot of London was left after Montague Strong.
I loved. I stayed in a hotel right by the Tower of London, right on the other side. I think it was called the Tower Hotel, it was amazing because I get to my view was the bridge.
Phenomenal, yeah.
It was nice. Oh, it was so wonderful.
And I destroyed the London Eye. I had it roll down the Thames. I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh well. They're rebuilding, I'm sure.
Landmark relocation. Like
well, listen, Montague Strong, you know. But look, they went to Japan, and Japan survived. See?
Yes.
So there you go.
Well, that was on pain of death from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a good idea if they went on a rampage in Japan.
No.
So I have to pick another city besides New York and London. I'll think of one. There's so many. I haven't visited Paris. Maybe they need to go to Paris. I hear the Louvre here. So, I think the Eiffel Tower needs some renovation. I never did finish that thing, so yeah. It's missing the shell. We'll see if we can fix that.
Yep, renovating the city one building at a time, as Chris said.
Well, Paris is a good city to destroy because it's concentric. So you can have a nice ripple effect. Start something at the Arc de Triomphe, right at the center, and have it expand in concentric circles, and Paris will be obliterated. In case the NSA is listening, I'm an author.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, please. All of a sudden you get in trouble.
Yeah, no, there's a knock on my door.
Yeah.
Come
me,
with us. You know?
Have you been to Edinburgh?
No, I was supposed to go to Edinburgh for 20 books to 50K, but I had to turn a few of those conferences down because I have writing to do. And if I go to a conference, like even in November when I'm going from the 11th to I think a week, it's like I lose a week of writing because there's no way I write at a conference. It's not going to happen.
Oh, no.
I might take notes and I might make, some ideas, but actually sit down and writing at a conference, not going to happen. So anytime I go to a conference, I'm taking time away from the writing. And the writing is essential to everything. The writing is the essential thing that has to happen. So I could literally spend all year traveling if I wanted to. I can go from conference to conference to conference. I have the invites. I know what conferences are going on. I can start in January and basically spend the entire year going from conference to conference. Some of them are really great. Some of them, last a week. Some last, 3 days. But I could spend all year traveling and then nothing would get done. No writing would get done.
That's true.
So I had to make some hard calls on which conferences to go to. So 20 books this year. Probably do 20 books next year and NINC because it's a good conference to go to. But I don't see myself going to too many conferences because I have to get the writing out. So
Do you ever take a break or ever take a little vacation just to, or is this your
this
vacation right now?
word vacation, I've heard of it. Um,
Is this your vacation when you're talking to us? Your
well,
little vacation?
every year I go to Virginia I take the kids to Virginia, and I spend a week in Virginia with my sister, and I live in the pool. So for a week,
Nice.
and that's
The
like
best thing.
unplugged away from everything.
That's the best thing to do in
And
Virginia. Just sit in the pool.
yeah, just in the pool. That's all. That's all I can do in Virginia in the summer because there's nothing. It's like
Oh God.
it's like 1,000
Yeah.
degrees.
And
Uh,
90,000% humidity.
yeah, it's like you're walking through water. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's considered a vacation, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do that much. I'll do days, but I won't do like an extended vacation. 20 books is like a vacation, but it's working. It's a working vacation.
Wow.
But I don't really. I write. That's this is not hard work in the sense of I have to go, get up, commute, go to an office, and that's not.
Right.
I'm home. My commute is from my room to my computer.
Well, do you ever go to different places and write? When people say they needed a little change of scenery or something,
Well,
and
when I used to go to Starbucks, I would do that.
oh yeah,
I would go,
I mean like
but-
a different city or a different place just to sit and
Nah, it's all in here. I don't have to go anywhere.
awesome.
Yeah. I don't think I need the change of scenery to write a story. I understand some authors do that. Like some authors, like I write with music playing, and so that would completely distract some authors. Some authors need a different scenery. Some authors like the white noise of being in a coffee shop, just the sound of conversation and the clinking of the cups. They need that to write. I need the music that I have, but I can take that music with me anywhere. But I never had to change locale to write. It was never that kind of an issue. So no, not that I can recall. No. Maybe early on, I tried to get out of the house and try to give myself like go there and write. That's what I would write at a Starbucks. But it was more like to create the discipline of you're gonna write. You go to this place specifically to write. Because outside of writing, why would I be in a Starbucks? I mean, I like coffee, but not that much.
Right,
So,
exactly.
so it was a purpose. It was to have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember when Burning Man happens out there near Las Vegas. That might be a trippy trip for you and the crew.
Yeah, if I go with like John and Ben and everybody, we'd probably destroy Burning Man. So that so
Burn down,
I don't
Burning Man.
recall. I know it's every year, and it's become this huge thing,
Yeah.
Burning Man now. But it
Yeah.
never really called to me. Plus, I'm not gonna go out to the desert to build something to just then burn it. I get the idea. I get the concept. I'm not interested in doing that. I can go to see it, but I'm not interested in going to build something only to have to burn it down later on. I get it again, and I respect it. I could do that at home. I'll build something here and just
Set it on fire.
put it on the
You do
stove.
it in your imagination and reading all the time anyway.
Yeah, but it's a great event, and I know people who have benefited from it because it's a sort of catharsis for a lot of people. Like they build something and they put like their past, situations or traumas that they've gone, and they put it into this object, and then they burn it and they free themselves from whatever hold it had on their lives. And that's awesome. If that works for you and it's therapeutic that way, that's amazing, and you should do it. But I can't see myself traveling all the way to Vegas just to do that. I can do that here,
Sure.
at home.
Sure.
But yeah, if you send me, John, Ben, and other people from the mob to Burning Man, you'll see us on CNN the next day. It will be a problem.
I see.
Burning Man,
Okay.
the last time.
We decided
That
to
would not be
cancel it
good.
for years to come.
Now, the Dark Goat, is it going to Sunatran's supernatural vehicle?
Yeah.
Is it going to last? Is it going to...
I think I tried to explode it, and it decided not to explode. I was trying to blow it up. I really was. And it taught me every nut and bolt. To the extent that it did explode. It was an exploded, like you ever seen an exploded diagram? And I had it exploded, and then I thought, okay, what's next? What could happen from here? And the next thing was that it reassembled.
Awesome,
Can't
Christine.
destroy the Dark Goat. I tried. Can't.
It's Christine's cousin.
Basically. So it's actually the beast's cousin, and we'll see what happens. Because Cecil's trying to destroy the beast, but he can't. So he tried to enlist Grey to do it, and then he built the dark goat kind of like as an experiment to see what would work to destroy the beast. So we'll see. But yeah, right now it's impervious to destruction, Wendy.
Okay. Now the beast, it actually curses its.
Yeah, the beast kills its drivers.
Right.
That's why only Grey can drive it. It's already dying. So it doesn't do anything to Grey. But if anyone else tries to drive it, it's not a good thing. And that's why Simon can drive the dark goat, because the same curse that's in the beast is in the dark goat, but Simon's immortal, so it wouldn't kill him. This is why Monty will never drive the dark goat. Besides the fact that the steering wheel's on the wrong side anyway.
That's true.
So,
right. Yep. The dark goat is immortal. That's right.
Yeah. Plus, you know how much flack I got for destroying the first goat? Oh my god. It was crazy. Like, guys, this is a car. And not only is it a car, it's a car I made up. It's not a real car.
Yeah.
But I won't even get into that because the Peaches flack was worse. When I kind of killed Peaches the first time.
Right, yeah.
I expected her to show up at my door with the nail I was. So, yeah, don't kill the dog.
No.
For all you authors out there, don't kill the dog.
That's right. They even knew it. They even knew it back in Hollywood when Hollywood was starting.
Oh, Yeller, yeah.
Yep.
Don't kill the dog.
That traumatized me so bad.
You're not the first one and only one. Oh, Yeller traumatized so many kids.
Yes.
Because don't
well, even Cujo. I mean, that was just.
Jeez.
Oh,
yeah, but
that broke my heart. That, well, yeah, that
was Stephen King because Stephen King's Twisted. But Old Yeller was like, "Are you kidding me? Really?"
Oh, yes.
So.
Well, it's like my mom wouldn't even let me watch Lassie because even though she never got hurt, she'd always get herself into these horrible situations. That I would get so upset, and she's like, "No, we're not watching.
No more Lassie for you." Well, I just loved how Lassie was with a few barks. Lassie conveyed the whole episode. Jimmy, he's by the lake. He fell in the well, and he needs help. Oh, let's go! Really? 3 barks in? Awesome.
Yep. Hey, you didn't know?
Yeah. The first dog whisperer. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I did train my dogs to. Well, okay, the dogs have a tendency to get excited about things. So I'd go, "What is it, boy or girl?" Yeah, and
lose their minds.
Yep. Oh, Timmy's trapped in a well.
Yeah,
let's go. Yeah.
It was incredible. I look back now. I thought, wow, that's really suspension of belief, because with a few barks, Lassie told them everything that just happened in the episode, what they needed to do, where they needed to go, what was happening, what was the situation. Wow, pretty awesome. That dog was awesome.
Timmy's mom was pretty good too, though, listening and going for it.
So, like I said, don't kill the dog.
Yeah.
And yes, the dark goat is immortal, and I don't foresee. See, because if they get to destroy the dark goat, it has ramifications across series, so they can't destroy the dark goat. Plus, Cecil will probably give them a Yugo next time if they destroy the dark goat. So yeah, I think Cecil would be rightly upset if they blow up that car, even though he wants them to kind of destroy it. I think he'd still be like, okay, your next car is going to be the worst possible car ever. So, yeah, a gremlin. Give him a gremlin.
Oh my gosh.
Or an AMC Pacer, something like that.
Or a Pinto.
A Pinto, that would be perfect. I can see him driving up now. I've got your car.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious though.
Well, if they ever need a loaner, I'll make sure it's a Pinto.
Those are the ones that if you tap the back, they
Yeah,
exploded.
explode. Yeah.
If you look at the back with a bat with an evil glare, they explode.
Mhm. Oh, too good. Too good. Now, if you could have any Sunatron vehicle, what would be your top
I'd get
choice?
a goat. I would.
Hmm.
Either
Cool.
a goat or the one that Ursula has now, which is the 1947 Plymouth Business Coupe, which is a beautiful car. But I would get a goat. Yeah, right up there in the supernatural field because they drive an Impala,
Hmm.
but the Pontiac GTO is a beautiful car,
Oh
and
gosh.
it's built like a tank. I mean, the cars back then used steel, and so they're built to last. So I would get a goat for sure. The second choice would be Gray's Beast, the Camaro. I actually owned one of those. That was my first car, Camaro.
Was it? Oh.
1960, I want to say 62, but I think it's a little later. But yeah, it was a monster. That was a beast.
Probably
Most
like
of the cars that
66 or 67.
67, I think it was.
Okay. Hmm.
Most of the cars in the Montague Strong series, because I have a love of American muscle, are American muscle cars, and so very rarely will you see the other cars that do make it into the Montague Strong series usually get obliterated. Like in the date, Simon got a Lamborghini Aventador, which is a beautiful. I mean, that's a work of art. That's not even a car. That's a work of art, and it got exploded.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was going to happen. We all knew that.
Yeah.
But in Simon's defense, there was a troll involved, and so. But yeah, but the American cars, the American muscle cars, because I love American muscle cars, and I grew up around them, watching them, and I have friends who worked on them, and I have an appreciation for cars made in that era. Those are the cars that you'll see in Monty Strong. Somehow, somewhere, they'll work their way into the cars, into the stories. So it's very much like Supernatural with the Impala Baby, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
There's a certain affinity for those kind of cars, and I think they throw back to a different era when those kind of cars were the norm. And back then, when car manufacturers made cars, there was a lot paid attention to the aesthetic of the car. It had to look a certain way, and these cars all look amazing. So that's kind of important for me. Cars today, they still look good, but not back then. The care that was put into making them is incredible. If you look at those cars and what the details that they put into it, it's amazing. And you don't see that now
Craftsmanship.
except in luxury cars. Like if you see
Mhm.
a Maybach or a Rolls Royce or really high-end luxury cars still have that level of detail, but regular cars, not as much anymore. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
So
why.
my first car was a 1980 Chevy Impala,
Mhm.
which was about the size of a boat. Yeah, a
Yeah,
small yacht.
those things
I
are
got
big.
about 20 people in my car
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah. Those things were huge. Even up into the 80s, they were big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got 11 miles to the gallon at least.
Maybe. Yeah.
maybe, yeah, maybe
you were
9
lucky.
miles.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, that cars changed to become much, much smaller. And so that changes the designs too. Back then, those cars, I mean, I remember cars when I was growing up, and my dad had a Cadillac, and that thing was, the back seat was a island unto itself. I could roll several times
Yes.
from one door to the next door. It was big.
Yeah, and you weren't confined by those pesky, car seats.
Seatbelt, car seats.
You know,
You just bounced around the back.
Yeah, he's fine.
I made it.
Mhm.
I
We
used
all
to lay-
did.
I
Yeah.
used to lay in the back window of my mom and dad's car, just like laying there watching
Well,
people.
the station wagons. In the station wagons, you'd sit in the back,
'Cause I sat in the back facing
and you just
the
bounced
traffic,
and rolled and bounced. There were no car seats, no seatbelts,
and we lived.
and you survived.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yep.
Barely sometimes, but we did.
I won't say we survived without head trauma, but we
Yeah, just a
survived.
little head trauma.
Slight amount of head trauma.
That makes us the people we are
That
today.
explains so much.
That explains so much, Wendy. You're right.
Mhm.
Oh my God, it's sad. You really look
Head
at things
trauma
back
made
then.
me the author I am today. There you go.
Oh, yeah. The first one I bought myself was a 1979 Trans Am. It was a couple years old, but it was
That's a sweet
Yeah,
ride.
oh god, yeah, the big block.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Pink
nice
tops.
ride.
Hmm.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh yes.
Except no screaming chicken on it.
No, oh, that's a shame because that Phoenix was part of the allure of it.
It was, yeah, but it
But
was the right
still,
price at the right time, and
yeah, and still, it's still amazing. That's a nice ride. That is a nice ride.
Very nice. Get my old Impala out. I impressed so many people with my car.
Well, I'm gonna say no, June. Sorry.
No, come on. In my head.
For storage, a lot of space.
Yeah.
But not many cool points like a Trans Am.
No
Trans
cool
Am gets you cool points for sure.
But I did have like a full-size bed and back. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. That's a whole different perspective.
Sorry.
I had to use a pillow to, see over the dashboard.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because the wells were deep. That's right.
Yeah, but oh golly,
like, trying to get out of one of those cars now. Oh man.
It would be dangerous for me to drive one of those cars now because I would make sure that it's equipped completely, like with nitrous and big block engines and really, really ready, race ready. So that would not be good for me now. No, we're gonna keep those books, those cars in the books right now.
Right.
Chris is saying every trunk never had fully stocked.
Safest place for those cars are in the books, in the stories.
Yeah, no Impala in the book.
This car spontaneously combusted. It was a Datsun 210 station wagon.
Wow, I forgot about the Datsun station wagon. Yeah, they made them for a while. Datsun was an interesting company. Datsun was Japan taking a chance in the U.S. market, so they used a whole different name. Datsun was really Nissan, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to tarnish their name in case the cars sank, so they created Datsun. But I remember the Datsun 280Zs; those things are beautiful cars. And once they took off, then they changed everything to Nissan. But yeah, pretty amazing stuff. Then this is the information I have in my head that makes it into stories. See?
That's pretty cool.
Why not?
That's right.
There's all these tangents and things that are connected. As Chris says, everything's connected.
Yep.
Yeah, I believe it.
Let me see. Okay. No quiet, awkward. Where are my crickets?
You have crickets? Crickets, awesome.
Crap! I totally lost my train of thought.
I was like waiting for you to say something. I was just going to be polite.
I have something profound.
Oh, we went the meaning of life. You had it. And you just lost it. Oh,
and I blinked.
Just kidding.
Story of my life.
She'll wake up at 3 a.m. and go, "Damn it!" That's what I was going to ask.
Everybody
keep a call.
Oh.
Hey.
You can always text me at 3 a.m, Wendy, and say, "This is what I was going to say."
Well, you'll probably be already awake and pushing heavy weights or something.
On my way to the gym. Yep. That's what you can text me and say, that moment, this is what I was going to say.
I hate it when that happens. I have the perfect comeback like 3 hours later.
Yeah, that's so fun.
So sad.
Well, we're kind of starting to get on towards the end.
Okay.
Where are our characters headed next?
Ooh, which ones?
Yes, which ones?
All of them.
All of them.
Oh, geez, no, we don't have that much time. You need a lot of time.
I got up to like 5 hours, actually.
Let's keep it to Monty and Strong. Monty and Strong, in the last book, Reaping Wind, you're starting to see Strong develop some power. And so that has serious complications for the duo. And it also is going to affect his relationship with Peaches. So you start seeing in the golem, you'll see that one of the things that happens in order to summon a golem is that dark magic, blood magic has to be used. So all the fingers start pointing at Monty because he's been leaning towards using it, or he hasn't been reluctant to use it. And so that starts to create a suspicion that maybe he's the one who created this golem. So they're going in that direction, and you'll start seeing Simon get stronger, but it doesn't come without a cost. Everything has a cost. And so
Sure.
as he gets stronger, things start happening that make it worse for him to get stronger. And he starts getting the attention of different beings because he's
Oh,
stronger.
okay.
You can't have an immortal and be strong at the same time. It's too much of a threat. So, and then things start happening with Karma. So that's going to be fun.
Did she get kidnapped?
Something's happening with Karma.
Okay, sorry.
It's not kidnapped, but if I'm a being and I want to be able to do things without consequences, I try to sideline the embodiment of causality. Just saying. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So, and there are beings out there that are coming back that you've already met, but they'll be coming back in different incarnations, and they have a bone to pick with Simon and Monty. So, yeah, and so they need to get ready, but in order to get ready, they have to make sacrifices. So it's gonna get dicey. It is.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Can't hardly wait.
So the golem starts setting them off into this. It's almost like a roller coaster. So the golem is almost at the crest, and then it starts sending them downhill. And it's like 4 books, almost leading one into the other. So no cliffhangers, but they'll be really connected. Yeah. So it's gonna be a blast to write. Because I'm just gonna write those. I'm not gonna write other. Those it's gonna be one right after the other. Get them out. Because it's going to be
like
that kind of story. Yeah, it's going to be that kind of story. So, plus you guys will kill me if I don't write the next one after that one, because it'll be like that. Like, where's the next one? I'm writing it.
We'll be at that Starbucks going, hey,
where is the next book? Hello? I've had that happen. I've had released books to the art, and an hour or two later, okay, I'm done. When is the next
one coming?
Oh my gosh.
I just released this one. Hello?
Oh, no.
I've had that happen.
I might have said that, but it was, sarcastically.
No, but it's happened to me. Like, I've been like, okay, but you realize I didn't write this book overnight. It took a little while. Yeah, okay.
Day or two anyway, yeah.
I've had it happen. It's always funny when it happens. I get it. I get the sense of because I'm the same way. I read books. If I have an author that's awesome and he has a bunch of books, I'll read them all. And then I'll get to the last one, or I'll prolong the last one if I know another one is coming, and I'll kind of hold off on the last one. Like right now, I'm doing that with Steve McHugh. He wrote the 7 Hellquin books, right? I'm reading Scorched Shadows, which is the 7th one. But I'm reading it really slowly because I know Sorcery Reborn is coming the 29th of this month. So I'm reading it really slow. I pre-ordered the other one, and I know that once this one's done, I can jump into Sorcery Reborn. So it's like, and I know readers do that with me too. Like, oh, book 10 is coming? Okay, I'm going to slow down on book 8. Wait until book 10 is out. And then I do the same thing. So I know.
A little bit like the Harley Merlin and all of her different escapades, and now her brother and all the ones.
It's the same. It's pretty much the same thing. Sure.
Yep, definitely.
For sure.
Okay. Any more questions in the chat rooms, guys?
I haven't seen them. You guys can see them because my machines are tied up in this. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But you guys, I'm sure you have questions. And why are you up if you're on the East Coast? You should be in bed. Late.
It was for this special opportunity.
True.
That's right.
It's like this is like a Mob TV live event, just longer.
Exactly. Yeah. When is your next Facebook Live event?
The next one it's twice a month, and so the next one's going to be the 15th, which is next week. So this month has been special. They had it on the 11th. They had something today, and then something on the 25th. We'll do another one. So that'll be fun.
Really fun.
Excellent.
Yeah, the 20th. By that time, Aftermath should be in the art, so that'll be even more fun.
Oh, wow. Now, if people want to get a hold of you,
no, sorry, can't.
Maybe not a hold of you, but just see.
I live on an island surrounded by sharks.
And
and razor
And a
wire.
force field that won't
And a
let
force
the
field,
internet
right.
in and out. Yeah.
And I have the highest Ziller security system. So my island phases in and out of time.
Physically get you, but find you some other way.
You can find me on my website. The webpage is orlandoasanchez.com. All my books are there, and you can sign up for the newsletter. I suggest you do, because that way you know about what's coming up.
Absolutely.
On Facebook, under the Mages of Badassery, but if the name of the group is the Montague Strong Case Files, you have to be invited in. You can, try to get in, but you have to answer the questions, and if you answer the questions, you'll get in. You'd be surprised how many people want to get in without answering 3 simple questions. It's amazing. But you can find me there. And I'm also online on Facebook as Orlando A. Sanchez. I have an author page, so you can find, I usually put up a lot of Rumi poetry there and
I love Rumi.
book snippets and book releases. I'm not as active on that page as I should be, but I'm starting to change that. But I'm really active in the mob. I'm in there every day except weekends. And even on weekends, I'm lurking. I'm in the background. But Monday through Friday, I'm in there. So if you need to ask me a question or whatever, I'm not that far away. And I post something every day, Monday through the week. I try to. I mean, I don't think I've missed a day in a long time. I don't think so. Yeah.
That's great.
And people who really want to find me, you can always PM me. I am available. Like people who PM me, who private message me or DM me, direct message, they usually can find me. I'm not that far away. And if it's urgent or if it's book related, I'll answer it. Sure.
Like, when is the next book coming out? No.
I just say, give them my trademark soon.
Yeah, soon. That's what I say about everything. Soon. Just a few more
Not
minutes.
now. Not later.
Just soon.
But soon.
Or
Okay.
patience, grasshopper.
Patience, grasshopper.
But you can find me online. So you can find me on Twitter under Orlando Sanchez or author Orlando Sanchez. Facebook, Instagram, O Sanchez author on Instagram. Yeah, you just type in my name pretty much everywhere you find me. You'll either find me or you're gonna find this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion who's also named Orlando Sanchez.
And I think his middle initial may be A as well.
It might be.
Yeah.
So you're either gonna find me or you're gonna find a martial artist, another martial artist. It's not me. But I'm on the major places.
It has been such a delight. I mean, it's just been so wonderful. I don't know if I've ever said it's been such a delight, but it really has been a delight.
I've had a lot of fun.
Good.
And I am really grateful to Wendy for saying, you got to check out this author because he's really good. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to or not. But I really did. And I was like, I really like these books. These are awesome. So you've got another fan.
Awesome. Thank you. No, I hear that story. It's interesting because I hear that story in so many different permutations. It works like this. Sometimes you'll read me and then you go to John Logson and Ben and Noah. Sometimes you'll read John and then you'll come to me and Ben, so we have all these authors who kind of cross each other, and it's amazing because it usually happens like that. You got to check out this author. Wow, these books are great. And then it leads all over the place. So thank you for Wendy for mentioning and Eugene for taking a chance and reading it, because if you don't take the chance, you won't discover it, right?
That's true.
That's right.
Yeah.
My whole life. That is.
It's very much like that. Yeah. Thank you for reading. I'm glad you enjoy Monty and Strong. They're a lot of fun to write, but the whole point is to have people enjoy them.
So.
Have fun. That's like really diving into a rabbit hole now.
I'm really gonna dive.
That's jumping into If you're gonna start with Monty and Strong and read everything, that's a lot.
It might take me a while, but I'll do it.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Play it while you're sleeping.
I envy you because you're discovering so much. I envy you because that's so much to jump into and read. You'll be like, wow, So I envy that.
I hope most of them are an audiobook.
Well, I'm in talks. Kevin will be doing Blood is Thicker in December because his schedule is slammed. I mean, he's really in demand. So he said the earliest I could do is like mid-December, and then we can do all of the series one by one. So I think the earliest is mid-December for Blood is Thicker, which is the 3rd book in the series. So it'll be fun to hear that book. I love listening to the books when he does them. He's really good, and John's is funny as It's so when John does the No Gotta Save, it's hilarious. Ken does it, it's really like dramatic, you know. So
That's so
I
awesome.
could see John cracking up a lot.
I know there were parts that he had to
Mhm.
do like a million times because they were just
Hmm.
yeah, I know that for a fact. Between him and what the British narrator was saying, I know there were parts where he just had to stop and redo it because it's just it's John one, and
Right.
the way what's being said is so many double entendres that it's like okay, the way
Mhm.
John's brain
I
works,
like that.
it's like yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Wendy, would you like
Yes,
to tell
June.
us who are we having next week
Who
on
are we
our
having
show?
next week, Wendy?
Lucy Cavendish. She's an Australian witch lady, and she got that book
Wow,
out.
what book is that? That cover looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's Book of Shadows and Light. Now, don't be
Wow.
fooled. Don't be fooled, because it's actually a blank book of shadows with a few illustrations in it, and you
Right.
are supposed to fill in your own
Oh, you bring the
no
light.
spells.
Notes.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
And I believe she focuses a lot on embracing both your light and dark side, which, that's balance.
Right, that is
That's
balance.
true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like both my sides. Yep. Woohoo.
Yeah, different ones for different days of the week.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Different
Mhm.
minutes of the week. What do you mean?
That's
right.
true, yeah.
For the hour.
Dark June comes out and people start getting stabbed with pencils.
There you go.
Just in my head. Only in my head right now, Wendy.
Oh, sorry, okay.
But I
All
get to
right.
smile. Well, thank you again, Orlando. And
Thank you for having me.
Thank
any
you
parting
so
words
much.
this week?
And good luck with Lucy. That sounds like it's going to be a great show. So let me know, Wendy, so we can promote it in the mob, so people can go
Oh, thank
check it
you.
out
Okay.
and definitely get the word out for the next show too. And whenever you're doing your shows, let me know so we can put it up.
We do them about every Wednesday, actually, and I do off and on Sundays if I've got a special thought that comes out. And
Let me know. Just put up a notice in the mob so that way people know to tune in.
Nice.
thank you so much.
Okay.
We've got the Port Gamble Ghost Conference guy, June.
Right.
We have that the 30th,
Yes, we have
October 30th.
Pete from the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, and we're going to have a few other people that have investigated the town, gone to the conference before, and kind of will give some of their thoughts and how amazing it is, and all the people, and just the town in general.
Sounds
It's
awesome.
a pretty cool town.
Okay. Yeah.
Port
If you
Gamble,
get
Washington.
Orlando, if you get to Seattle ever, definitely go down to June's place there, Spooked in Seattle.
Oh,
Take
cool.
the ghost
Seattle
tour.
Ghost Tours. And
That sounds cool.
we have the Death Museum there. So yes, very cool.
Yeah, me getting to Seattle, that in itself is gonna be an amazing adventure.
It would be.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever do, all of a sudden,
For sure. I would
say
definitely
hello.
look you up. Definitely
Yes.
if I ever get to Seattle.
You and your
Awesome.
family, it's like, well, I'll take you on the private tour that most people
Ooh.
don't see.
Creepy
Yeah.
and scary. Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Very cool.
All right then.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
I-
And thank
yes.
you, everybody.
thank you so much.
Thank you everybody from
everybody
the
in
mob
chat.
who stayed and chatted and asked questions. That's awesome
That
too.
was amazing. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a good night. Well, for you guys, it's only 9, so that's awesome.
Yes, that's right. I'm wide awake.
11 for me.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
11.
11 for you. It's midnight. for
I'm
you.
just like,
That's
hey,
okay. I don't
I'm
sleep
going out to
at
party
doesn't
now.
matter.
No, I'm just kidding.
This is when we start. Just get ready to
Totally
go to the gym soon. Right, Wendy?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. All right. Good
All
night,
right.
everybody. Let's see. Even the devil gets it right sometimes. Will take us out. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone.
Okay, and we are muted.
Woo,
Awesome.
nice.
That was fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over the hills and trouble you